we're just a couple of minutes away from beginning. I'd like to invite you to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Mike Overton will bring the invocation. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Dear God, thank you for another beautiful day in the Ozarks. We thank you for the opportunity to live in the finest city, in the finest state, in the greatest nation in the world. Be with us now as we deliberate. Help us to make sound, rational decisions for all concerned. And Lord, we would ask you for brevity from certain quarters at the conclusion of our regular business meeting, but we know some things are out of even your control. In your name, amen.
Man. Thank you for praying for my State of the City address, Mike.
All the help you can get.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will officially call this regular meeting of the Springdale City Council to order. This is Tuesday, February 26, 2019. We do have large print copies of the agenda over here. Bill's holding up, if that would be helpful to anyone. And that said, we will now move on to the roll call by our city clerk. Denise?
Mayor Sprouse?
Here.
Amelia Williams?
Here.
Jeff Watson?
Here.
Mike Overton?
Here.
Colby Fulford?
Here.
Mike Lawson?
Here.
Rick Evans?
Here.
Brian Powell?
Here.
Kathy Jaycox? Ernest Cate?
All right. Thank you. We are at item 4, and if this is the portion of each council meeting that the council sets aside to hear brief comments from our citizens. If there is anyone that would like to address the council concerning something that is not on tonight's agenda, we just ask that you come to the microphone, clearly state your name and address, and be happy to hear those comments. But we won't deal with anything you have to say tonight. So we're dealing right now. We're hearing comments on anything that is not on tonight's agenda. Anyone? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of minutes. Item 5. You've had an opportunity to see those. If there are no additions or changes, I would ask that I'd entertain a motion that we approve them as presented.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Item 6, procedural motions. What's your pleasure, council? Okay, we've got a motion for A and B.
Second.
And a second. Roll call, please.
Williams?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
Overton?
Yes.
Fulfer?
Yes.
Lawson?
Yes, ma'am.
Evans?
Yes, ma'am.
Powell?
Yes.
All right, item 7. Patsy's on her way. Planning Commission report and recommendations by Patsy Christie, Director of Planning and Community Development. Patsy?
We have 2 items on the agenda. Do we get the projector turned on? Okay. I think we're keyed up if we can get projector here. The first item is a request to rezone 2.63 acres located on the northwest corner of Grimsley and Carey Smith Roads. The request is to rezone the property from Agricultural District A1 to Low Density Single Family Residential District SF1. Planning Commission recommends approval of the rezoning request. The title of the ordinance reads, an ordinance amending ordinance number 3307, the same being the zoning ordinance of the city of Springdale, Arkansas, and the plat pertaining thereto by rezoning certain lands from Agricultural District A1 to Low Density Single Family Residential District SF1 and declaring an emergency.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the ordinance. We have questions or comments? Anyone? Anyone in the audience need to address this? Okay. Denise?
Watson?
Yes.
Overton?
Yes.
Fulfer?
Yes.
Lawson?
Yes, ma'am.
Evans? Powell?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Second.
Overton?
Yes.
Fulfer?
Yes.
Lawson?
Yes, ma'am.
Evans? Powell?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
Both the ordinance emergency clause carries.
And as usual, the emergency clauses are added to these ordinances because they're pending actions to be taken on the properties. The second one is a 1.1 acre property located at 4579 West Sunset. The request is to rezone the property from Thoroughfare Commercial District C5 to General Commercial District C2. You'll see on that map, there's the location of the property. It's not the entire property, but if you'll go to the next one, you'll see that that's the only portion that's being rezoned to C2. Planning Commission recommends approval of this rezoning request. The title of the ordinance reads, an ordinance amending ordinance number 3307, the same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Springdale, Arkansas, and the plat pertaining thereto, by rezoning certain lands from Thoroughfare Commercial District C5 to General Commercial District C2 and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Okay, motion is second to approve the ordinance. Any other comments or questions?
So the picture on our notepads is the entire.
It's the entire,
long-
it's a location map
And
to
you're
show you.
just talking about the part
Correct.
up on Sunset?
Correct, just that one
Everything
point,
else will remain C5?
correct, just that 1.1 acre tract at the very front along 412 will be rezoned.
So, probably, I don't know if it's relevant or not, but looks like it divides a building or something.
It does, and they're looking to replat it. Those buildings have to be removed before it gets replatted.
Building's not on this part, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
technically, I think there's a little
Oh.
piece of the building that's on there, and, you know, those are all to be removed anyway. That process will take place before it's actually replatted.
Where will the access be for the backside of that property?
They're extending it, right now, it'll just be two tracks. It'll be this track on the front that they're rezoning to C2. The rest of it remains as a track. As they develop the rest of it, it'll have to have access developed with it. But right now, it's all C5 anyway. It's just rezoning that one C2 because the specific use they want for that corner is not allowed in a C5.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, Denise?
Wolfer,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Evans, Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Second.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Evans, Powell,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Wolfer,
Yes.
Both the ordinance and emergency clause carry 7-0.
All right. Item 8, ordinance committee reports and recommendations. Chairman Mike Overton. Mike?
Mayor, we had two ordinances come before the ordinance committee, both of which were forwarded for recommendation for approval. The first one is an ordinance to amend Chapter 130 of the Springdale Code of Ordinances, zoning ordinance, Article 5, use units to create Use Unit 52, food truck court as a conditional use in certain districts, to amend Article 6 supplementary district regulations concerning food truck courts, and to amend Article 11 definitions, declaring an emergency for other purposes. This allows for conditional use, a food court allowing from 2 to a maximum of 10 food trucks in a platted lot in the city of Springdale.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance. Are there other questions or comments? Anyone? Okay, Denise?
Evans, Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Wolfer,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am. Second.
Powell, Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Wolfer,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Evans.
Both the ordinance and emergency clause carry 7-0.
The second ordinance we have is an ordinance amending Chapter 46 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Springdale, Arkansas, to declare an emergency and for other purposes. And this allows for, this just clarifies that the City of Springdale will indeed be reimbursed by the individuals causing hazardous waste spills, and it reimburses us for our actual expenses.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? Anyone? All right, Denise?
Williams,
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Wolfer,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Evans. Powell,
Yes. Second.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Wolfer,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Evans. Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
The ordinance and emergency clause carry 7-0.
All right, thank you. Item 9, Parks and Rec Committee report and recommendations. Chairman is Mike Lawson. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. We had one item last week when we met. It was a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk of the city of Springdale to accept a gift of land from JHT LLC. Committee did recommend approval. It's basically, we've been leasing a portion of the Tyson Park for $1, I think, for the last 25 years, and we realized we couldn't spend bond money on a portion to renovate, so the Tyson family has been gracious enough to give us the land so we can do some improvements.
And you read it?
Read it.
We have a motion?
Yes. Second.
Motion and second. Any further comments or questions? I know Mike said, we're certainly appreciative and we're excited about this donation. Anyone else? Okay, Denise?
Overton,
Yes.
Fulfer,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Evans,
Yes, ma'am.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Watson.
Yes.
7-0.
All right, we will, we'll begin negotiations with design and construction management, and hopefully have something to y'all before too long for your consideration on that part. Item 10, Finance Committee report and recommendations. Chairman Jeff Watson. Jeff?
Finance Committee met last Monday as well, and only had one item that submitted as a resolution. The title of that resolution is a resolution authorizing the library director to submit a grant application. The librarian had quite a lengthy explanation. She's not here to talk about it, but basically it's to apply for a grant from Tyson's company, I guess.
Okay.
Have anything more on it, Mayor?
It's a position, it would fund a position that would help with
Community outreach.
Community outreach, yeah. So, and Tyson is, we believe, interested in funding this. We'll have to apply, and it's a competitive grant, so we don't, but this resolution would allow us to apply.
And it was for children, correct?
Yes,
For
for children,
children.
that's correct. Any other comments or questions? Did we get a motion in a second? We have not.
Second.
Okay, we have, now we have a motion in a second. If there are no other comments or questions, we'll call for the vote.
Fulfer, Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Evans, Powell,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes. Carry 7-0.
All right, thank you. Street and CIP Committee report and recommendations. Chairman Rick Evans. Rick?
Items on the agenda tonight, one's resolution, one's an ordinance. First one is a resolution authorizing the extension of a detention.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Any other comments or questions? Anyone? Okay, Denise?
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Evans,
Yes, ma'am.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Fulfer.
Yes.
Carry 7-0.
All right.
Next, we have an ordinance.
Okay, this is out near the new Highlands Oncology, right?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there other questions or comments? Anyone? Okay, Denise?
Evans,
Yes, ma'am.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Fulfer,
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes, ma'am.
Carry 7-0. Patsy, I didn't put an emergency clause on it. Does it need one? It does? Okay. I can add emergency clause to it, Patsy.
Move we add a motion.
Second. Yes.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Fulfer,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Evans,
Okay, we have a committee of the whole recommendation, and I'm going to turn it over to Councilman Mike Overton.
Mayor, this is a resolution brought forward by the council. It's a resolution encouraging the Washington County Quorum Court to call for an election on the issue of sales and use tax for an improvement to and ongoing maintenance of the Washington County Jail. As we all know, the county jail is at or near capacity right now, and there are several municipalities that use their services, and the county is mandated by state statute to provide these facilities. And we believe that the voters of Washington County should have an opportunity to vote on this issue. And so we encourage the Washington County Quorum Court to call for an election for the sales and use tax and for ongoing maintenance after that.
All right. Thank you, Mike. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further comment or questions? Anyone?
Mayor, of the proposed increased tax, can you explain the portion that drops off and what percentage that is?
Well, I'll try, because they've talked about some different things. I think the numbers I've heard is that they would need a 3/4 cent
Construction.
for construction. I think that's for construction, and then half of that, a 0.5% would drop off, leaving a 1/4 cent
For maintenance.
ongoing maintenance. But that's just what they've talked about. We're not sure what would end up, what they decide to put on the ballot.
What do we think a 1/4% would generate out of Springdale?
Well, out of Springdale, well, I guess we could just take a quarter of what our 2% or what our 1% generates to get that figure, which would be what our 1%. Wyman this year will be about 14 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. So a quarter of that, I think, would be safe.
And in the alternative, should this not, number one, be put toward the voters, or should it not pass, then it would be up to the municipalities to pay whatever the county determines would be a fair and reasonable per diem for each one of the folks that we send to the county.
Right.
Which could, and that's something we couldn't even budget for, because we wouldn't have any idea until after the fact.
Right. They've actually discussed all along. Now keep in mind, we've got, I think, 9 new members of a 15-person quorum court. So they're still getting their bearings, I'm sure. But what if there was a fee imposed, which we do oppose, because there are so many layers to that onion, and so many ways that's going to be problematic. But the thinking was, the discussion was that even if that fee was imposed, it would go away once the sales tax, if the sales tax passes. Our argument, and I think what your resolution that you've read, Mike, encourages, is that they're not talking about imposing a fee until making it effective until 2020 anyway. Let's go to the voters first, rather than putting a fee in place that it's impossible for us to budget for. Let's go to the voters first and do what I think many of us believe would be the fairest and most equitable way for this jail expansion to be funded. Some of the other ways they were talking about, I think, would be heavily weighted and burden city residents more than those that aren't in the city.
And one thing too, Mayor, just because someone is arrested in Springdale doesn't mean they're not a resident of the county.
Oh, absolutely.
So this is a fairer way to spread the cost across the county, because it's a matter of public safety.
That's right. Yeah, because we all you know, we're not on, no cities up here or the county are in an island. I mean, crime doesn't look at street sign, at city limit signs, and, that's why counties, I think, are sheriffs by, as you said, are mandated to provide this service. So it's for the county as a whole, and I think a sales tax would be the best way and the fairest way.
So do we think that the quarter of that 1 cent would be about 3.5 million?
I'm just going by, it makes sense to me that if our 1% generates about 14, then about a quarter of that.
3.5.
Yeah.
So we think the fee would be less than 3.5, or more than 3.5 million?
Could easily be, depending on the population and the daily fee they charge. They charge $65 or $75 a day. That adds up in a hurry.
Well, we're not the ones that makes the decision.
No,
on that
quorum court
25%.
makes,
All we're doing is encouraging them
we're,
to, yeah.
we're asking just
They
to
may,
put it,
they may decide
Oh.
to keep more than 25%.
Yeah,
That's
but-
something we just don't have to deal with.
this is just encouraging the quorum court to put it before the voters to let them have a say, yea or nay.
It'd be nice if the whole thing would go away, but I doubt they'll do that.
Well, another problem is if they impose a fee, Chief, until that is built, we're gonna get charged a fee for something we can't send people to.
The current situation in the Washington County Jail, they won't take our misdemeanor prisoners. They take our felony prisoners. We're in a situation in the county where there's no place to lock prisoners up at this point. They're letting go 200 misdemeanors a month. So the jail expansion is kind of a critical situation. As far as the ongoing fee, I believe there's already a 1/4 cent sales tax in place for the ongoing maintenance and operation of the jail. It covered those costs for several years, but now it doesn't. And the numbers they were giving us were somewhere roughly almost $1 million a year that they're, that's falling short.
Yeah, that's the gap.
Yeah. If they build a new pod, it's gonna basically double the capacity of the jail, which should get us by for many years, I would hope.
My only thought is consideration of us having our own 1/4 cent sales tax if it's gonna be less than $3.5 million.
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna pay the county $3.5 million a year, what I'm saying is, what if the amount to house the prisoners is less than that? Do we
And they're
want to
gonna
give
get to use it for,
it back? Not that much.
Yeah. Good question, though.
so why are we having to do this? Why aren't they moving forward already?
Well, I think
They have new members, so they're
Yeah,
they're deliberating.
I think that's probably, you know, as I mentioned, we've got so many new quorum court members.
And we're just hopeful that this will encourage them?
I don't think it's a bad idea to go on record and ask them to move this
And
along.
do it.
We're in a critical, and if the sheriff was here, I wouldn't want to put words in his mouth, but I believe he would echo the urgency of this.
And I think this is an encouragement to them, especially for the new members. They see that we are engaged in this too. So I do
And
approve of this resolution.
And it's quite obvious we cannot afford to build, staff, and equip incarceration facility. Just can't be done.
I think it's good to move forward with this resolution, but I would like, at some point, for them to give us a figure as to what they think it would cost per prisoner, see if there's not a better way for Springdale to handle that.
I think some of the points you brought up would be excellent for us to go down. We will be there, and obviously any of y'all are welcome to.
Next committee meeting
go
is
with
March 11th at 6:30.
You will probably still hear ideas from all over the spectrum, but I think that would.
So right now, we're already giving them a 25%, quarter of a penny already, and we don't even use the jail except for felonies, right?
Correct. That's correct.
Plus some other charges, yeah. But there's no doubt, I mean, they need to build, and it's, you know, that, but yeah, you're right, Jeff, we already, we've been doing that for, I think, years, yeah.
I guess since they
When they
built the
built
new
that jail.
Yeah, since they built the jail. Okay, all great questions. Do I have I did get a,
Motion, yes.
We got a motion, a second. Are there any other comments before we move on this? Okay, Denise?
Williams,
Yes.
Watson,
Yes?
Overton.
Yes.
Fulfer,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Evans,
Yes, ma'am.
Powell.
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you.
Maybe the quorum court can answer Mr. Schumer number two's concerns on the 11th.
Well, the good thing is the resolution doesn't put any figures in it, yeah. All right, item 14, and I'm going to turn that over to our city attorney. I'm sorry, 13, I missed one. Well, that's the city attorney too, so you just take the next two, Ernest.
Item 13 is an ordinance authorizing the city clerk to file a lien for the raising and removal of a structure within the city of Springdale, Arkansas, located at 417 South Cleveland. The council passed an ordinance, raise and removal ordinance on October 9th, 2018. The city then raised and removed the structure. This would recover our costs as a lien, $7,250. Mr. Miller is here, I see in the audience, property owner.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Other comments or questions? Anyone need to speak to this?
You say Mr. Miller was here?
Do you need to say anything, sir? Okay. All right. Then I'll ask for the vote.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Fulfer, Lawson.
Yes, ma'am.
Evans.
Yes, ma'am.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Fulfer. Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Evans.
Yes, ma'am.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Watson.
Yes.
Both the ordinance emergency clause carries 7-0. Next item is an ordinance authorizing the city clerk to file a cleanup lien for the removal of overgrown brush and debris on property located within the city of Springdale, Washington County, Arkansas, 804 North Virginia.
Move ordinance pass.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? Anyone in the audience need to speak to this? Okay, Denise?
Fulfer,
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes, ma'am.
Evans,
Yes, ma'am.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Second.
Lawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Evans,
Yes, ma'am.
Powell,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Fulfer,
Several of you had to get the look on that one from
Ordinance
our
emergency clause carries 7-0.
city clerk.
That looks kind of scary, too.
Like I worked overtime tonight.
Do we have any comments from department heads? From council members? From our city attorney?
Just a quick one. I don't want to
Okay. No, that's okay. I'll come
prolong
on.
this.
No, that's
but
all right. Go ahead.
I passed out to each of you, and it's also been placed on our website, the 2018 annual report of the city attorney's office. If anyone's interested in looking at it, see what we've accomplished over the last year, and do this every year, so this is this year's edition.
Ernest, since we just, well, never mind. We'll do that another time. There were some real surprising but encouraging
Yes,
things
there
in
were.
that, so.
Absolutely.
I encourage everyone to, when they have a chance, to really look through that. All right. This is not my shortest state of the city, but it is also not my longest, so cut me some slack, all right? On January 1st of this year, I began my 11th year as mayor of Springdale. I want to first thank the people of Springdale for allowing me to serve in this office. It is truly an exciting time to be in Springdale. Thanks to our great business community and our hardworking residents, we are consistently one of the state's leaders in job creation. We also are tied with Bentonville for the lowest unemployment rate in Arkansas at 2.5%. On the revenue side, our city sales tax receipts are up 6.25% over the first 2 months of last year. We have so many great and exciting things happening in our city, and I'll just have time tonight to touch on a few of those. But before I get into some of the things that are coming, I'd like to highlight a few of our city departments. Our fire department, together with our water utility, dispatch center, and IT department, recently achieved an ISO 1 rating. This positively impacts property insurance rates for all of our residents. Also, last summer, the Springdale Fire Department received national accreditation. Our organization is now one of only a handful, actually maybe less than a handful, of departments statewide that hold both of these recognitions. Our police department also continues to excel, not only in keeping our city safe, but also by working with our community partners to continue improving ways to serve our residents. Thanks to the support of this council and the voters of Springdale, we will begin construction soon on a new facility that will further improve our public safety efforts across the board. Construction will also include a new radio system and CAD, along with new dispatch center and new IT facilities. This will position us to utilize the latest technologies that will enhance our ability to continue to protect and serve our growing city. Public Works, Parks and Recreation, Planning and Community Development, our Buildings Department, Animal Services, and all the divisions within each of these departments continue to work hard to meet the needs and expectations of our residents. Though we are a large organization, we are still a lean organization when compared with other cities on a per capita basis. We are able to accomplish all that we do because of the example and expectations set by our department heads, this council, and the dedication to service of those that our department heads supervise. We have a senior center that I believe has no equal in the state of Arkansas, and that's not because they're in a perfect facility, but because the staff and volunteers make it special for the seniors that attend. Our citizens can also access a premier public library and an award-winning museum. Both serve our community and region well. Finally, I couldn't ask for a more efficient and supportive administrative team. They help our residents daily, getting them to the proper person or finding answers to their questions or concerns. I'm also privileged to get to work daily with other dedicated elected officials, Judge Jeff Harper, City Attorney Ernest Cate, and City Clerk Denise Pierce. Without them and the staffs they have assembled, we simply couldn't function as a city. At this point, it's appropriate for me to recognize and thank this council publicly for your support of our great employees during our most recent budget process. You had to deal with some difficult choices and concerns, and I know I can speak for all of our employees when I thank you for your confidence in the work we do. We've experienced some exciting times in our city over the last few years, and the excitement is not only going to continue, but increase as more and more announcements of great things coming to Springdale are expected this year. Thanks to the strong support of the voters of Springdale, each ballot question considered in last year's bond election passed by an amazing average of 85%. That's almost unheard of. As a result, we now have several projects at various stages of design or construction, and I want to update everyone on what is going on so far. I'll start with parks. The final design of Shaw Family Park is due in a matter of days. The large-scale development was approved by our Planning Commission earlier this month. At almost 120 acres, this will be our second largest park behind J.B. Hunt. I should mention again the $500,000 donation by the Shaw family that is helping to make this large park a reality. Design will soon begin on the improvements to Randall Tyson Sports Complex, as you dealt with tonight in our Parks and Rec Committee recommendation. Thanks again to the Tyson family for generously donating a large portion of the park to the city that we didn't already own. And now that the city owns the land, we are free to use bond money to go toward those needed improvements. $1.9 million of bond money was used toward the purchase of the former Next Level building on Cambridge Street. Late last year, the council unanimously approved the sale of our 1960 Youth Center in Murphy Park, along with the purchase of the Next Level building to become our new rec center. This is an exciting opportunity for which the short term will present its share of challenges. But over time, this move will prove to have been an excellent investment for the future recreational needs of our fast-growing city. We also continue to use park bond money to make various improvements to existing parks. For example, we're now in the process of installation of field lighting at Bobby Hopper Park and security cameras at both Murphy and CL and Willie George parks. And while this council has not yet committed money to it, the Luther George Park improvements are currently under design. The design is being funded by a Walton Family Foundation Design Excellence Grant through our Downtown Springdale Alliance. This has the potential to be a transformational project for the revitalization of our downtown. And while I've made it clear that private money will be an important factor in construction of the improvements, it's also important that the city is in a position to make a significant contribution of available park bond money toward construction. The design firm will be back for another round of public meetings next month. We'll make sure you know when those are and hope you can attend. Moving on to our criminal justice bond update, the design team is working closely with the construction manager and city staff to finalize the design. The design was also paid for by a Design Excellence Grant, saving our taxpayers well over $3 million. We should have completed construction documents by the middle of next month. Phase 1 of the project will consist of the new police building, including dispatch and IT department, new courtroom and court offices, and new city attorney offices. Phase 1 should be completed by May of 2020. Phase 2, which is the complete remodel of our existing city hall, will then begin and should be completed by June of 2021. Design of our new animal shelter is nearing completion. The new shelter will be located just east of Highway 265 on the south side of Don Tyson Parkway. Construction should start this summer and take about a year to complete. I actually just saw the elevations today, and it's going to be a beautiful facility. It'll be a facility we can all be proud of. And it'll be a facility that will serve our residents for many years to come. We also believe with this more visible and accessible location, every aspect of animal services will be improved, from increased adoptions and awareness to more timely responses from animal control. Now turning to an update on our new fire stations. I hope you've been by there, but Station 7, the construction is ahead of schedule and should be completed in just a few months. And if you haven't driven by on Harbor Avenue lately, it's going to be a great-looking station and provide a much-needed coverage for a fast-growing area of Springdale. Station 8 will be located on the corner of Huntsville Avenue and Conair Drive. It will be the same basic design as Stations 2, 3, and 7, which is under construction now, as I just mentioned. The property for this station was donated to the city by the Springdale Public Facilities Board. Construction should begin late spring or early summer of this year, so really within a few months. We should be bringing forward design and construction management contracts for Station 9 probably within the next year. Station 9 will be located on the corner of Ball Road and Carey Smith in the northwest corner of Shaw Family Park. Planning for the additions to our training facility on Turnbow Avenue should follow shortly after Station 9 begins. Road projects, several road projects are in various stages of design or construction. Our first project was completed last year. That was the overlay and restriping of Huntsville Avenue, Elm Springs Road from Thompson to I-49. Also included in that project was the overlay of a portion of Johnson Avenue and Lakeview Drive. This first project came in well under engineering estimates. Another project that is about to begin construction will be the extension of Jean George Boulevard from Blue Avenue north to Elm Springs Road. Notice to proceed was issued January 14th. Utility relocation is ongoing and road construction should begin very soon. I'm going to say too, I didn't write this down, but I want to remind everyone and our folks, our residents, that this project also includes improvements to Elm Springs Road from Shady Grove Road out to where 56 will intersect. Utility relocation has begun. Yeah, bids for this project also came in almost $1 million below preliminary estimates. One other road project already under construction is Watkins Avenue from Arvest Ballpark west to 64th Street. We're partnering with Northwest Arkansas Community College on those improvements as they continue the construction of their new Washington County Center. Other road projects currently under design are the extension of 48th Street from the Walmart Supercenter north to Bob Mills Road, the extension of Ford Avenue from Ford Avenue to Butterfield Coach Road, 40th Street from Falcon north to the new Arkansas Game and Fish Education Center, which is just begun construction, 64th Street from Deering north to Sunset, the extension of Maple Avenue from Holcomb to Park Street, the portions of Ball Road and County Line Road bordering Shaw Family Park, and then one that a lot of people ask about, and I'm glad to give an update, Pump Station Bridge at Spring Creek. That is a project that is on our highway system. Our RDOT controls that project, but their design is complete, and they have released us to begin acquiring right-of-way and moving utilities. Just so folks know, everybody knows, that will be a two-lane bridge. It was a one-lane previously. It'll be a two-lane bridge. The grade on it is probably going to raise about 4 feet, so there will be some longer approaches to the bridge, but we need to do that for flooding issues. It'll be a great improvement, and it will also include a trail crossing for the greenway underneath. So that grade crossing of the greenway will go away, and folks will be able to go underneath the new bridge. So that'll be a great improvement. I don't have a timeline on how long it's going to take to build, but at least it's designed, and we know what it's going to be, and we're acquiring right-of-way. So, according to estimates, the projects I've just mentioned, and by the way, even though that we're going to pay, we may be paying for that bridge out of our bond money initially, most of that will be reimbursed as the federal money comes back to us. Okay. Now, besides everything else going on, I was going to say, according to estimates, the projects I've just mentioned will use just over half of our road bond money. So after a few more of these projects are bid, we can begin to prioritize the next round of road projects. Now, besides everything else going on, our downtown revitalization continues to hit on all cylinders and is even gaining speed. There are a lot of things being planned that I can't talk about yet, but I can say that we expect many important announcements related to downtown this year, the next announcement coming in a matter of weeks possibly. Projects being talked about will keep bringing more jobs, residents, and visitors to our downtown. And while talking about downtown, I do need to mention the great work of our Downtown Springdale Alliance, and look forward to working with new Executive Director Jill Dabbs as she works with her board and downtown businesses and residents as our downtown moves to the next level. I also have to give kudos to our Chamber of Commerce, and I had this written down. I'm not doing it just because I saw Perry walk in. Not only have they been a great partner to our Downtown Springdale Alliance in promoting downtown, but they continue to work effectively to promote all of Springdale. They also played a major role as the governor was designating opportunity zones across the state. I'll not go into great detail here, but with the designation of 4 opportunity zones, Springdale has more of these zones than any other city in Arkansas besides Little Rock, which also received 4. The really exciting part of this news is that with 4 contiguous zones, our entire downtown is within an opportunity zone. We're already seeing that this will greatly encourage more investment, and it will be coming more quickly than we otherwise would have seen. So we're looking forward to that. We're also looking forward to the coming announcements in our overlay district. As mentioned earlier, the Northwest Arkansas Community College Washington County Center will be completed this year. Further development near Arkansas Children's Northwest and the Highlands Oncology Facility that is under construction will bring many more development opportunities to the area. High-quality multifamily, also now under construction, will help provide much-needed options for people hoping to locate in that exciting area. While I've talked about downtown and the overlay district, those aren't the only growing areas of Springdale. Mercy's new medical facility at Elm Springs Road and I-49 will also spur continued development around that interchange. Really, all along the I-49 corridor, also Highway 71B, and as well as 265, and also along our east-west corridors. Pretty much all over Springdale, development is happening. This year, we will also be preparing for the 2020 census. We'll be meeting in a couple of weeks to begin forming our complete count committee. We're going to need help making sure everyone in Springdale participates and is counted next year. Our residents need to understand the importance of getting everyone counted. State turnback funds that help us build and maintain our city streets are directly tied to our population. Everyone here uses our city services, regardless of who they are, or how or when they came here. We all drive on our roads, and no matter who calls for emergency services, we respond. The level of effectiveness with which we can provide many of these essential services to all residents rely on this per capita funding that comes back to our city. We need everyone to participate. We're cheating ourselves and our fellow residents when we choose not to be counted. If any of our residents have an interest in serving on our complete count committee, please call my office and we'll get you connected. I've probably gone long enough. I can imagine some of your eyes glazing over as I'm writing this, and I really could, and I'm not even going to look at you. These State of the City addresses are much more difficult to give when we've got so much going on, because it's difficult to choose what to leave out. But that's a great problem for a city to have. We are blessed, and what I've shared with you tonight is really just the tip of the iceberg. But I hope I've been able to give you and our citizens some good information during the last few minutes. One more thank you to the citizens of Springdale as I began for allowing me to continue to serve as mayor. As always, I need to thank my wife of almost 42 years, Sandy, who's here. I don't think you've missed one. I was a little worried you were late getting here, but but we had enough wind on the council that it lasted a little longer, and we were able to, you were able to get here before I needed to start this. Also, I want to thank my family for their continued love and support. As you surely know, every one of you, elected positions like yours and mine can many times be more difficult on our families than on us. So I thank you, and I thank your families too. I'm also thankful for the great many friends and acquaintances, both old and new, from here and from around the state, who make life fun and meaningful. They also encourage me and pray for me, and it's important for you all to know they pray for this city too. Most of all, I thank God for his many blessings, for giving me a purpose and for loving me unconditionally. He knows that's the only way I can be loved. But no matter whom you are, he loves you that way too. And with that, I'm going to say, God bless each of you, and may God continue to bless the people and the city of Springdale. Thank you. No, that wasn't too long, was it? Okay, well, there we have a motion to adjourn, I'm assuming. He just said so moved, so do we have a second? Second. We're adjourned. Thank you. Y'all have a great evening.